हरे कृष्णा ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। हरे कृष्णा. We'll continue our discussion. This is Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9. We are 17, but this is a very important section, the seed of Bhagavatam. I will just discuss on this just in few minutes. This is a very important understanding. Like the scientific approach to the study of any subject is fundamentally different from the sentimental attitude of fanatics. This is what Prabhupada writes here in the second canto. That fundamental difference, scientific approach to the study of any subject is fundamentally different from the sentimental attitude of fanatics. That means if we want to study any subject, any topic seriously, and want to become an expert in this field, then we must approach this issue systematically. And this is exactly what we are trying to do now by reading all this in a systematic way. And it is radically different from sentimental attitude of the fanatics. We can put emotions into it, but what the fanatics they lack is a systematic approach. That's why they cannot take answers. They cannot give very uh, convincing answers for everything. They'll it will be very difficult for them to uh, today. It is very difficult for them to answer all the questions in that way. And of course, fanatics and fools sometimes think that the activities of Lord associated with his external energy are not worthy of their attention. And they think that this is Prabhupada writes actually in one of the purports. And then they think that they are privileged to have access to the kingdom of his internal energy. But in fact, the activities of Lord associated with his external energy are just as great as the internal energy also, which is what we have discussed. And now there is another Maya means it is internal energy also, external energy also, Yogamaya and Mahamaya. But generally we apply it to the external energy. But we know Yogamaya also, it is also a Maya and the energy of Lord. So there is no difference for the serious listener of Srimad Bhagavatam. There is no difference between the interactions of Lord with any of these energies. Now, when he is associating with uh, just give me a second. When he is interacting with the external energy or internal energy, it is his interaction. So that is what is very important. Whether you are interacting with this external energy. Sorry, for Lord, it is both are same only. For us, it is different because when we associate with external energy, we are really very much troubled. But when we associate with Daiviyesha Gunamayi, Mama Maya Durtaya. But Mahatma Namstu Mahapartha, Daivim Prakriti Mashtara, like that. Now here another thing is for Lord it is both interaction. So when he is creating the Srishti Lilanda, is interacting with his external energy. And but those who are not yet completely liberated from the bondage of external energy of Lord are advised to regularly and reverentially listen to the activities of Lord related to his external energy. And then there is also Prabhupada is saying that if we are still not free from the influence, then we need to listen with all these things. And only out of some foolishness, people think that no, we have to just read the stories, internal energy only, nothing to do with external energy. And we just have to listen some pastimes of Lord Raslila. And there are self-proclaimed reciters of Bhagavatam who are very fond of talking about the activities of Lord with his internal energy. But they are pseudo devotees and they are absorbed in the material sense gratification, behave as if they have reached to the level of liberated, and therefore they fall even lower because they become more and more tangled. Very important is some of them they think that hearing about the pastimes of Lord means hearing about his leelas with the gopis, his rising over the hill and all. But these are also here, they are also pastimes, but this Purusha Avatar is also pastimes, right? Now, the point of discussion today is I wanted to talk about this Chatushloki. We'll reach that and then I will discuss. But there are a few more things I wanted to share before that. And especially the last chapter of second canto and even in detail the third canto, these are nicely explained how we have to hear the Lila Avtaras, Purusha Avtaras. Pure devotee should start reading or listening Bhagavatam from the very beginning and not from the 10th canto. Prabhupada writes also this. And he is very much trying. Now, the topic of discussion, one important point which every time we have to remind ourselves that there is paroksha jnana and aparoksha jnana. There is indirect knowledge that we receive from somewhere else. As a rule, it is theoretical knowledge that we have received from the external source. And then there is aparoksha jnana. When our knowledge becomes our own experience, when it passes through us, at that moment it becomes immediate knowledge. That means direct knowledge. When we start, when we talk about some spiritual topics, now it is very important to distinguish between the two categories of knowledge because it is very easy to think theoretically about the topics which you are dealing. But like there are so many people who are bookworms, they read and they get knowledge. But we need to make it into Vijnana. The real scientists, they should have aparoksha jnana, that is a direct knowledge. And the two categories, what is the difference? The understanding will explain to us that Srimad Bhagavatam, it consistently tells us about the qualification of speaker and the listener. Because Srimad Bhagavatam is basically, we can understand based on the qualification. That's why it is very important. Many people recite Bhagavatam, but they don't know what is the qualification to understand. Once I am qualified, even if I read little also, I may make so much advancement. Like it is not just how much information I know, it is how realization. That is why sadhana is very important. Reading again and again and again, and chanting and service. This will make our receptivity very much. That's a qualification of the listener. Now, in the secular world, secular science and all, more emphasis is placed on the skill or for the storyteller. That means who is speaker. Like in the colleges and school, what is calculated? Now there is assessment for the teachers also, which is completely bogus. You cannot assess your teacher. You can never get knowledge like that. They may get some information, And teachers are also not much interested to give anything, something very really any. They are interested in giving their information. Like then there is marking that is given to the teachers, and based on that only they will they'll get extra money and other things in some colleges, especially 11th, 12 colleges and all. But that is not the Vedic culture. Vedic culture is you have to tadvijnanatham sagurum jiva vigachet, and we have to do tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnetsya. Because that time listener is, especially now listener have no qualification to hear some worthy topics now, and because they can hear worldly topics. Worldly topics do not particularly emphasize that the level of aparoksha jnana. It is just some theory, paroksha only. That's why we see so many people, they sit in front of information boxes and they are trying to get information. Now, what is essentially the difference between these two approach? When we listen to something, a certain samskara remains in our mind. It does not matter what we heard, but the depth of the sanskara will be different. So, aparoksha jnana is essentially the knowledge that leaves a very deep samskaras. Samskara is impression, which is what is forming our karma. Whatever I am now, this is what I heard or what I associated. Whatever association I got, that forms the sanskara, and I'm like this. Now, if I am having good reception, receptive power, and then I am associating with a very exalted Vaishnava, then immediately that will change my position. And theoretical knowledge in principle is good. You can remember it and we can tell it in the exams and then we forget it because the sanskara is completely superficial. A very and very quickly some other samskaras will cover over them. Like in Vedic society, the brahmacharis they are given very strict training. Basically, what is the training that is given is they are made to become qualified to hear. They are told to do menial services. You have to massage the feet of Guru. Now, if we massage the feet of mother and father and Guru, now if you say that teacher, if he says to even do little service to the sorry, student is told little service to teacher, they'll say it is exploitation. But no, that is how it was. Gurukul, they will do all menial services, do jado pocha, and then they have to do all this cooking, cutting, and going to the forest, get some firewood, all menial services. Basically, what they are trying to do, they are making the person qualified to hear. And when he becomes very humble and understand, I need my guru and I need to gain knowledge from him. By his blessings only I get, then the guru start instructing. And that time when he hears even once also, immediately it goes into his consciousness and that will become part of his life. The sanskaras goes very deep. Now because the qualification is not there, that remains as information and then it is just replaced with some other things. Some other sanskaras will cover or it or it is completely erased. When this happens like this, so this is, but aparoksha jnana leaves such a deep samskaras. Is il Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yeah, how is it that menial service creates
Mataji,
that
I am not able to hear you
receptivity?
clearly. Maybe you can
Oh,
speak. Means,
sorry. Yeah. Sorry. I had on these headphones. Yeah, how is it that menial service creates that receptivity for learning?
oh, menial services basically makes him understand that I am servant of my spiritual master and he becomes very humble, like he is in a humble position. Arey, I have to just clean. He is not identifying himself as a I am the son of a king or I am son of a minister or a son of a brahmana. He's just thinking I'm just a servant. So that state of mind is very important. So when we are doing some menial services, we always feel okay, I'm not very big person, I just do some cleaning and hear this. That's why guru, we are told that we have to do some menial services to guru just to keep us in that state, to make us remind that I am just a servant. And that helps them to, okay, if I am servant I need to be humble, and that will help them to listen from guru in a very, especially they are small children at the age of 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. When they are in that state, it is very helpful for them, they get very deep, the quality will help them to develop the deep sense.
Yeah. So the menial service is like it.
Like menial service,
it
three things, Mataji. When we say tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya, like
yeah.
three. One is you have to we have to develop humility at the level of body, humility at the level of words, humility at the level of mind. When I'm doing menial service with the body, I'm at least bowing down. At least physically, I'm trying to do become humble. Then we have to accept that then we are rendering services to the person. First is bowing down, then rendering services. And pariprashnaya sevaya, seva, and then questions. Question means when you are asking question, it means that you are accepting that this person knows more than me. So it is a humility at the level of mind and intelligence.
uh, so you said humility at the level of, did you say body, mind, and words, or body, mind, and intelligence?
Like body and words also, we offer them respects, we speak some nice things to them.
Mm-hmm.
And at the level of mind also, it comes in two levels. If we say mind,
Mm-hmm.
in a in a more buddhi and manas, both are considered as mind. In that level, if you see, you are accepting that he is more intelligent than me. There is level of buddhi, and in the level of manas also, and emotional level also, you accept him as a superior person.
Uh-huh. And so by doing things, humble things on the level of the body, it's like trying to cultivate that mood in the mind.
Yeah, yeah,
Actually,
yeah, yeah,
that's the purpose, right, for the
yeah,
bodily level.
yeah.
Okay, so I mean, because the whole idea is to not have that mood where I think I know as much as my teacher, or subdue that challenging kind of spirit so you can be more receptive, right? Isn't that the idea too?
Yeah, yeah. Like if we have appreciation for the person who is speaking, then it is easy for us to accept what is speaking, and that way it
Yeah.
sanskara. Like say suddenly if Prabhupada comes for us and he starts speaking, immediately we'll all be very grateful. Oh, Prabhupada is speaking. So for us, because we have so much appreciation for that person, when he's speaking, immediately it has a deeper effect, and that's what is given. And they try to get a qualified guru, and they go and do menial service to him, and start uh, doing whatever he is telling and offering obeisances, and then asking questions. That's how it is achieved. Even demons also, when Indra offended their guru, demons immediately started worshipping their guru. They know we'll gain power, we'll gain knowledge, everything will gain by guru. So this system was known in Vedic culture, that we need to respect our superiors to get a state of heart which will help us to gain knowledge and power.
Wonderful. Very nice, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yes. And we have this, yes, yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, today morning also we saw about aparad no Prabhuji, disrespecting the guru. So the psychology behind that is, we will think like we basically think that he does not know to that standard. Is like Prabhuji, like later initially we accept a guru and follow, but disrespecting a guru means like when we start learning and we think we know better than him, something like that. Prabhuji, what is it disrespecting the guru means?
There will be many type of disrespect. One is they think that Guru don't know much, or you
Yes.
start I know better than Guru, or
Mm.
their disrespect is not following what he's telling to us. and not assisting in his mission, and
So
we promise.
not following what he's telling means that I like that's what I want to understand better, bro. That means we don't think that is right, no, bro. That is why we won't follow, no, Prabhuji.
Sometimes we know it is right, but we don't want to follow because we have some other desire. Like if
Knowing
Guru
it's
is
right.
telling, okay, no, if Guru is telling that you serve in this temple, but I don't like to serve here, I'll go some other place and serve. I know this is right, but I don't want to do it.
Mm.
Like that, there are so many things. But basically, what happens is why people come to that state, is not when they are promising and when they are accepting Guru. That time they were a different person, and then
Mm.
after some time what happens is as our body changes now our mind also changes, and we
Mm.
become a different personality only. That's a split personality, or we become a different person. Like what I was 10 years, I'm a different person now in terms of mind, in terms of body, everything changes. But that time I had a great devotion for Guru, and after some time I said, oh really, I may not be so much serious now. That so this change happens if you are not regularly associating with devotees, or if you start associating with outside people and doing some materialistic activities. So this risk is always there that we may disobey the orders of Guru. We have to be very
That
careful.
means we're accepting the guru on mental platform, is it, Prabhuji?
What happens is that is why we Prabhupada previously just 6 months he said, but now many of the gurus they make their devotees wait for 2 3 years, 5 6 years also before giving initiations. Because why they make them wait? Because they want to see them that this person is really understanding and is coming to a level of buddhi and is acting, not just an emotional state. Because emotional state people take diksha and then they cannot maintain it, or they will not be able to properly follow everything what is told. But if they grow and they stand on their leg, and then that will be helpful. Then they will not offend Guru. Otherwise, all these offenses happen. They don't even hear from Guru also. Some of them they left his convent to other people. They became Babajis. All these things are offenses only. They go into other gurus, and and then they don't understand. It's not information, because I am reading so much Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and if my Guru Maharaj is giving class and he's just reading from Prabhupada purport, and you don't know what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said or Jiva Goswami or Sanatan Goswami said, I should not think, oh, I know better than him. I know more deeper imports of this purport. My Guru is not giving. It's not like that, because it's
Mm.
not theoretical. That is the difference what we are discussing: paroksha jnana and aparoksha jnana. Paroksha jnana is I theoretically know what Sanatan Goswami or Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is telling, but my spiritual master, because of his sadhana, because of his service and dedication to Prabhupada, whatever he has, it is all aparoksha jnana only. It is direct knowledge he is having. For me, I may have theoretically so much of knowledge, but it does not have any value until I make it into aparoksha jnana. This is the difference. People don't understand. Like no, they Ritvik people and all they say, oh, what is their knowledge, what they are doing. Arre, 50 years they have just dedicatedly served Prabhupada mission. That itself
Mm.
is aparoksha jnana for them. They have got so much realization, and that will what we have to see in the spiritual master. We cannot just see how much theoretical knowledge they have. Their life is itself is what is we have to see, and that realization, that advancement is not so easy.
Because we don't understand that in our level, Prabhuji, like what they are.
Their knowledge is aparoksha. They have direct knowledge because they have done that sadhana.
Okay.
Now, say some very intelligent boy from say very reputed institution, he comes and we give him these books. He can read in 1 week, 10 days, and he can also understand what is given in that. But there is a difference because he did not do sadhana. He cannot get that realization. He may theoretically understand. There have many people whom I know who have read Prabhupada books, CC Pro, and they have read many other books, but they don't even chant also. I feel how it is because they are not able to realize it. So, because this is not just information, it's a realization. So, when we cannot think that Guru does not know, whatever Guru knows, he knows it properly. I mean, theoretically, no, I am not the body, spirit, soul, but for Guru, it's a realization. So there is so much difference like that.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So here, just people gain knowledge, it's theoretical knowledge, but it is not at the level of aparoksha. That is a difference because they have acquired knowledge with their dedication to Prabhupada. That is the difference. When we pass that will help us to pass the final exam. We will need aparoksha jnana only for the final exam. If you have some kind of superficial knowledge, we will still forget it because at the moment of death, the experience that we experience is it is the experience that we get is so intense. In that intense experience covers all the superficial samskaras that we received during the life, and we forget about all of them. Whatever is so deep samskaras, that is what will remain with us. And like in the critical situation, the deepest samskaras, like they say that the young soldiers who die on the battlefield, they cry for mother. They're crying, they're young, they're in 20s and all, because for them mother is so close into their heart, even though they feel that, oh, I didn't stay from my mother from 5 6 years, but in the deep of their heart they have that still connection. That's why they start crying for their mother only. And this is the deep samskaras that come out. And after growing, some other things also will add up. Like one devotee was telling, this is many people might have heard this, that he remembered some washing powder advertisement when he was drowning in Ganges, and he was almost going into unconsciousness. And then devotee dived and they pulled him out. And then they removed the water. He came to consciousness, and they asked, "What did you?" Then he said, "Arey, I was remembering some commercial advertisement of a washing powder." Now there is a question that how do we know that Guru has not information, it's realization. It is basically because of the lifestyle they are living, how much they are fixed in their activity. That shows that they are very deeply realized. That at least they have crossed the stage of nishta. For them, material things does not give any pleasure. They don't have any much interest in knowing material things, and they are not much eager for any sense gratification. So these are things that prove that if somebody is giving up sense gratification, that means he has realization. He has realized that it does not make me happy anymore, and then he don't try for it. So that means they are on. It's not just some theoretically they are doing. They have realized the fact. That's why they are able to give up sense gratification for 50 years. For normal people, 5 days to give up is difficult. Some may try for 50 days, but for 50 years, yeah, it is really very difficult. They are doing it, so that is a proof. We can see that it is not just uh, theoretical, it is realized. Yeah, we have to observe his teachings and see his realization, his humility, and all these things are also there. Yes, like another thing, that there is a story of a minister who knows many languages, but nobody was knowing what is exactly mother tongue. They want to know what is his mother tongue because he is able to speak fluent in non-languages. So one night when he was going home, they covered his head secret from the behind and they started beating. And when they beat him, then he started crying in his mother tongue. What does it mean? That when we are in very critical situation, whatever is the deepest sanskara, that comes out. It's like that. Like and yeah, we will just cover a few points on the purports also. They're very nice purports. We do. We'll take them. We have completed 14, 15. Yeah. 17 till 17 they complete. The goddess of fortune and transcendental form is engaged in the loving service of Lord's feet and being moved by the black bees, followers of spring. She is not only engaged in variegated pleasure, service to the Lord, along with her constant companions, but also engaged in singing the glories of Lord's activities. This is what Mother Lakshmi is doing. So it's not any activity like what we are doing. Now we have to sit and do reading. We say, okay, Proji, 1 hour, 1 hour, or 2 hours, not more than that. And when some bright moments, we may sit for a little more time, but it is not possible. But in spiritual, it's not like that. It's not some burdensome thing we have to do. It's from the heart. So it comes from the heart. It becomes so easy for anybody to do. That is the point. Like say, this why I give always the example of mother serving the child because that is the purest form, whatever exists in this metal world, the love. If you tell mother, oh, whole day, small child, whole day you have to serve the child, mother don't feel it as burden. She always is longing to do more and more, be with the child all the time, holding always in the lap and caressing and making some fun, and something they want to do for the child. And they don't feel it's like they're working very hard and they need some payment for it or that the pleasure of the child itself. So similarly, spiritual is also like that. It's from the heart, so much love is there and then they do it. It's so easy. For us also, we may not have that love. We are doing it for pleasure of Krishna, but not with love. That's why bhakti is very special in the way that perfected beings, what they are doing, we are doing the same activity. We need not change anything. Now I am serving Krishna, there also I will serve Krishna. Here I am doing out of compulsion as a sadhana, there out of love. So when it becomes love, then no need of any what do you say rules and regulations because then they are coming on the platform of spontaneous bhakti. They just do it because they want to please Krishna, and there are no need of rules. For us, we have to follow the rules. Even somebody comes at the level of prema, also they don't. They follow the rules because they have to set example. So here, Brahma is seeing this Vaikuntha Loka. Brahma saw in the Vaikuntha planet the personality of God, who is the Lord of the entire devotee community, the Lord of the goddess of fortune, the Lord of all sacrifices, and the Lord of universes, who is served by the foremost servitors like Nanda, Sunanda, Prabhala, Haranam, his immediate associates. So we have discussed, and then he says the personality of Godhead seen leaning favorably towards his loving servitors is very sight intoxicating and attractive, appears to be very much satisfied. He has smiling face decorated with an enchanting reddish hue. He is dressed in yellow robes and wore earrings and a helmet on his head. He has 4 hands and his chest was marked with lines of goddess of fortune. This is what we have discussed also. And 17th also we have discussed. The Lord was seated on his throne and was surrounded by different energies, namely the 4, the 16, the 5, and was endowed with his 6 natural opulences along with other insignificant energies of temporary character. But he was the factual Supreme Lord enjoying his own abode. This is what we have discussed, and then we'll come to 18th today. तद्दर्शनाह्लादपरिप्लुतात्म परिपुटान्तरो दृश्यत्तनु प्रेमभराश्रुलोचनम् नानां पादाम्बुज अस्य विश्वसर्ग यत्पारमहंसेन प्रतादिगम्यते. He says that Lord Brahma, thus seeing the personality of Godhead in his fullness, was overwhelmed with joy with his heart, his eyes filled with tears of love, and in full transcendental loving and ecstasy, he bowed down before the Lord. That is why the highest perfection for the living being. So this is what is to bow down in front of Lord. You should feel joyful, love for the Lord. Prabhupada writes in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam stated that the greatest literature is meant for Paramahamsas. Bhagavatam is Paramo Nirmatsaranam Satam and Nigama Kalpataror Galitam Phalam Sukhamuka Damrita Davasa Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamale Muhuraho Rasika. They are Rasikas, that means they are on the Paramahamsas. And the Srimad Bhagavatam is meant for persons completely free from malice. This is a very important point. Our unhappiness is the degree of malice we have in our heart. That's all. Nobody is cause of our unhappiness. That's not possible. Our unhappiness is our own contamination. If I am able to overcome the contamination to the degree my heart is pure, to the degree I am happy. And no, we cannot blame the people or situations in life. Very simple formula we remember. To the degree my heart is clean, to the degree I am happy. So what should I do? The purpose of life is to be happy. What should I do to become happy? To clean the heart. And how to do it? In Kali Yuga, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That is a simple process. Prabhupada is telling in the conditioned life, the malicious life begins from the top, namely being malicious against the Supreme Personality of God. This Personality of God is an established fact in all the revealed scriptures and in the Bhagavad Gita. The personal feature of Supreme Lord is especially mentioned, so much so that the last portion of that great literature is emphatically stressed that one should surrender unto the Supreme Personality, unto the Personality of God to be saved from the miseries of life. Prabhupada writes nice thing. Unfortunately, persons with impious background do not believe in the personality of God. That means they don't have Sukriti. That is the point. Prabhupada says, therefore, the Paramahamsa stage of life can be attained only by those who are fixed in practice of Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga begins if a person has a firm conviction that simply discharging devotional service to the Lord in full transcendental loving love can elevate him to the highest perfectional stage of life. Tomorrow I will take Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita. Maybe today we don't have sufficient time, but they're very important. We need to understand them very nicely. I'm also learning. Whatever I have learned, I will try to explain. We'll just this is a nice point which Brahma says in the 10th canto, the 14th chapter. Jnane prayasamudapasya namanta eva jivanti sanmukarita bhavadhiya vartam jnane stata statigatam tanuvan manobhir yah prayaso jito api aista istri lokam. He says that the devotees who abandoned the path of empirical philosophical speculations aimed at merging in the existence of Supreme and engaged themselves in hearing his glories and activities from the bona fide sadhu or saint and who lives an honest life in the occupational engagement of his social life was conquered. So, this is one more verse we'll take. तं तं प्रीयमाणं समुपस्थितं कविं प्रजाविसर्गे निजशासनार्थं प्रियः प्रियं प्रीतमना हरेस्परन् बभासि ईशस्मितशोचिषा गिरा प्रियः प्रियं प्रीतमना करे स्पृशन्. He says, and seeing Brahma present before him, the Lord accepted him as worthy to create living beings to be controlled as he desired, and thus being much satisfied with him, the Lord shook hands with Brahma, who slightly smiled and addressed him thus. So here, Lord is doing some reciprocation for the first time. So he's shaking his hands. Nice gesture from the Lord's side. The creation of material world is not blind or accidental. The living entity who are ever conditioned on Nitya Baddha are thus given a chance for liberation under the guidance of his own representative like Brahma. The Lord instructs Brahma in Vedic knowledge in order to diffuse this knowledge to the conditioned soul. The conditioned souls are forgetful of their relationship with the Lord, and thus a period of creation and the process of dissemination of Vedic knowledge as necessary activity of the Lord. Lord Brahma has great responsibility in delivering the conditions. Therefore, he is very dear to the Lord. So, Prabhupada writes nice point. Brahma also does his duty very perfectly, not only by generating the living beings, but also by spreading his party for reclaiming the fallen souls. The party is called the Brahma Sampradaya. Any member of this party to date is naturally engaged in reclaiming the fallen souls back to Godhead, back home. The Lord is very much anxious to get back his party and parcels, his part and parcels as stated in the Bhagavad Gita. No one is more dear to the one who takes the task of fallen, reclaiming the fallen souls. So we'll end here today. Tomorrow we'll continue at 7:15. Thank you all very much. Kantra